And money. With an online savings account from Marcus by Goldman Sachs, you could earn much more interest than with the largest banks. Sign up at Marcus.com.
Comparison made to the 3 largest U.S. banks measured by total deposits. Rates as of January 21st, 2020 may vary by state. Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC.
Say goodbye to those annoying parking lot scratches with a paint repair at Mako. It's as easy as book, quote, fix. Go to Mako.com for more info. Uh-oh, better get Mako.
The news you need from the station you trust. Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station. This is KNXM and HD, KRTH HD2, Los Angeles. KNX 1070 News Radio. Radio.com station. Depend on us.
Taking over top local story. Police in Long Beach say they shot a man dead after he pulled a gun on them. Plus, a temporary halt at the daily cleanup of homeless camps in Chatsworth. These sources traffic every 10 minutes. The 5's coming up in 4 minutes after CBS covers the world. It's 7 o'clock. Americans home from infected cruise ship.
They're still subjected to a 14-day quarantine.
Rising water in the deep south.
They're surrounded by water in their home, and it looks like they could be up there for days.
MLB sticks to sign-stealing punishment.
Losing your job is a pretty serious deterrent.
This is the CBS World News Roundup, sponsored by Mass Mutual.
Good morning, I'm Steve Kafen. 2 plane loads of Americans are back in the U.S. today. They had been trapped on the Diamond Princess, that cruise ship in Japan, where there are more than 450 coronavirus cases. KOVR TV's Ryan Hill says one jet arrived at California's Travis Air Force Base. Those on board will face 2 weeks of quarantine.
They will not be at the same facility. I am being told by a spokesperson at Travis that it will be some sort of lodging facility on the main campus area. Travis has also stated that no Travis men or women will come into contact with the individuals who are here on quarantine. They made that implicitly clear.
The other aircraft arrived at a base in San Antonio. 14 on those planes tested positive for the virus but showed no symptoms. CBS's Deborah Pata in Japan.
For the over 40 Americans left behind in hospitals in Japan, last night's evacuation was tough to bear.
It was kind of devastating not to be able to join them.
Rebecca Frazier from Oregon has been in hospital for nearly 2 weeks with the virus, but has had none of its symptoms. Her husband, who tested negative, is waiting for her on the Diamond Princess. They are worried that they might have to undergo further quarantine in the U.S.
It's a strain mentally, emotionally. We have lives to get back home, and I get that they need to make sure that we're clear. But once we're clear, we need to go home.
Well, now to the south, where there's a state of emergency in Mississippi, one of several states where there has been destructive flooding. CBS's Omar Villafranca says there's concern along the Pearl River.
Jackson's floodwaters filled the streets and forced evacuations over the weekend ahead of warnings that more rain is on the way.
This is a precarious situation that could turn at any moment.
At least 4 people had to be rescued from their homes as the fast-rising waters from the Pearl River flooded entire neighborhoods.
Y'all know of anybody that's still back here?
Emergency crews used boats to bring people and pets trapped in their homes back to dry land. As water was released from an overwhelmed reservoir upriver of the capital,
Which will bring another 12 to 18 inches of water into the river.
as people waded through knee-deep water, others made their way down the street paddling in boats.
In Washington, CBS's Paula Reed has details on new pressure on Attorney General William Barr after his move last week to lower the sentencing recommendation for a friend and ally of President Trump.
Over 1,100 former justice officials who've worked in both Republican and Democratic administrations called Barr's decision to intervene in the Roger Stone case a grave threat to the fair administration of justice. Now, the Attorney General says the president has never asked him to do anything in a criminal case. But CBS News has learned that Barr's relationship with the rank and file is increasingly strained. And it's not just about his intervention in the Stone case, but also this unusual trend of tapping his U.S. attorneys to review or reinvestigate matters of significant interest to President Trump.
Well, Mr. Trump took his presidential limo to Florida yesterday for a lap before kicking off NASCAR's Daytona 500.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
A campaign pit stop before a supportive crowd. The race was halted by rain and will be run today, 4 minutes after the hour.
Behind every moment shared with the ones you love is a plan that helped make it happen. Learn more or find an advisor at massmutual.com.
This is Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station, KNX 1070 News Radio. Good morning. I'm Rob Archer. Top local story at 7:04. A man was shot and killed in Long Beach last night after officers tried to stop him. They say he pulled a gun and opened fire. KNX 1070's John Baird is live on the scene with details.
The area has been cordoned off with yellow tape for hours. Police are still conducting their investigation. But this all started late last night. Jennifer Dupre is the spokesperson for the police department.
Officers who were working a violent crimes task force were in the area, 19th and MLK, when they attempted to stop an adult male suspect who was riding a bicycle.
She says the man took off on foot and officers chased him. They tried to take him down using non-lethal means like a stun gun, but he allegedly pulled a weapon of his own.
The suspect did open fire on the officers.
So they returned fire. The man was mortally wounded and died later at a hospital. Police say they found a gun at the scene, a silver semi-automatic handgun with a black handle. Live in Long Beach, John Baird, KNX 1070 News Radio.
A popular family therapist has been murdered in Hollywood Hills. That story is coming up in 2 minutes. But first, 7:05, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5. Here's Rick Smith.
Just getting word of a crash in the Sepulveda Pass southbound side of the 405 before you get to Getty Center. A wreck in the middle lane. Traffic was already backed up before Mulholland. It stays pretty slow once you get beyond the crash to about Sunset. A couple of problems for the northbound side of the 5 freeway. The first one's in La Mirada, right before you get to Valley View. We've got a wreck on the right shoulder, and then up ahead at Carmenita. Slow lane plugged up with a wreck there. Overall, you're going to be jammed up from about Beach Boulevard in West LA. It's the westbound 10 transition to 405 north. Look out for a ladder. That's going to be at the end of that connector road in Norwalk. The 605 north connector to the 105 west. It looks like a conked down vehicle there has one of the lanes of that transition